Good afternoon, everybody. Another segment of Franklin Idea. Today they saying it's Mamba Day, either today or tomorrow. Kobe is turning 40 years old, and I've always wanted to do something, man. Just kind of chronicling my views and thoughts on Kobe, man, as a player. Just what he meant to the Lakers organization. I just want to throw this out there. I'm a Lakers fan, okay? I'm not one of these crazy Kobe fans. The religion of Kobe is God, all this and that craziness, okay? Actually, the relationship I've always had Kobe has always been love hate. Definitely more love because what he brought to the organization, landed on the line every time he touched the floor. For the organization. But this is gonna be the ugly, the bad, and the good. I'm gonna finish with the good so we can end this on a good note. So that people will realize that ultimately I had more love for Kobe than I had hate. Okay, so the ugly, man, this is more so the impact he had on the Lakers organization, man. So the ugly, and this is just the truth, no bias, So the ugly, man. The ugly to me, was Kobe's last couple years. And I'm not talking about his play on the court. I'm talking about his mindset. The same thing that made him great made him a detriment to the Lakers progressing, okay? To the Lakers transitioning to the new era, okay? His unwillingness to accept that he was no longer the guy, to accept that he would have to hand the mantle over to another star player. From what they said in his recruitment, I think we recruited LaMarcus Aldridge, that was something he mentioned, it would still be his team. From him taking that contract, it can't knock nobody taking their money at all. I don't want to do that, but at the same time, he wasn't worth the buck at that point. Okay, and then the Achilles. I can't knock him for wanting to play after that. Who wants at least one season after that? Because nobody wants to go out like that. But I really feel like Kobe hamstrung the organization and played a key factor. A lot of these things that I just mentioned played a key role in why we've been bottom dwelling. Last 5 or 6 years. And I just it was definitely more good with Kobe as a Laker than more bad and ugly. But I feel like the last couple years, he really, I feel like some of the hirings were because him. Byron Scott had no business being the coach. I feel like that was just to cater to Kobe, who was done, And I respect the organization for valuing their players, but at the same time, I feel like Kobe didn't, he didn't put the organization first at the end, in my opinion. Okay, that's just my opinion. All right, so I'm gonna transition to the bad. What I say is the bad is, like, as a Lakers fan, I still, one thing that always stick with me, and it was always kind of hard for me to forget, and it's kind of why sometimes I know I could be hypocritical with LeBron, and everybody know I'm not the biggest LeBron fan, but he a Laker now. It is what it is. But I feel like I might have been kind of hypocritical with LeBron because I will never forget when Kobe wanted out, but he wanted out because of his own doing, and I can't knock him for wanting to win without Shaq and wanting it to be his team. And Shaq actually, in my opinion, I saw the signs of Shaq on the decline. That toe kept getting hurt. He kept getting small little nagging injuries. And I noticed his touch was slowly starting to go away. Even with the Heat, his numbers were not the same, okay? And I started seeing his decline, but he still was the most dominant force in the game at the time that he was traded to the Heat, okay? And then to me, I did feel a type of way about Kobe. Not even about the Phoenix game. The Phoenix game where he wouldn't shoot the ball, that game 7. I felt the type of way when he wanted to be traded, okay? Because it was like, you created this mess, but I know you stayed out of belief that the organization was going to put a team around you. But the same issue I think Russell Westbrook is having is the same issue that people were having with Kobe at the time. I think other players were having, is that even though, he was able to keep PG Westbrook this time, but I feel like Kobe didn't realize that guys really weren't dying to play with him. I think the only guy that I know one point during that period, they were thinking about going after KG. That fell through. I remember they were thinking about getting Jason Kidd. That kind of fell through too. But nobody was really breaking their neck to play with Kobe because of his style of play, because his mentality, But the thing is that mentality, of course, is necessary to be a champion, I feel. That's why I always had the utmost respect for Kobe, in that, from that perspective. But I'll never forget him wanting to be out. As a Lakers fan, that's why, people gonna say this blasphemous, but every time I do the pantheon of the greatest Lakers, I always keep Magic. And even though Shaq did not play as long as Kobe, I still sometimes have Shaq ahead of Kobe. I mean, this might sound crazy, and then I got Kobe right there, but it's him and Shaq. I go back and forth, because Kobe did want out, and Shaq only wanted out because of the money dispute. Shaq and his issues with Kobe and his selfish ways at that time. Shaq. I think Shaq would have wanted to retire a Laker. If it wasn't for the drama, if they would have paid him. But Shaq, I also fought him a little bit too, because nobody was paying him the amount of money he wanted. Coming off of those injuries, and like I said, they saw what I saw, that he was starting to decline a little bit. But it's always been kind of hard for me to completely forgive Kobe for wanting to be traded, and to kind of criticize other guys for joining other teams. This is something that's grown on me. I usually didn't, I used to be hell-bent against it, but then, over the years, you know that you learn the game more, man. You grow up, and you kind of see, like, he was about to pull that same move. So it's kind of hypocritical when I criticize other guys for doing it. And if Kobe would have done that, I always used to tell people, man, I only like Kobe because he was a Laker. If he would have done that, he probably would be my most hated guy, But that is what it is. So I consider that the bad. The bad is when Kobe, he created the mess, and then he was trying to get traded and trying to get out of it, and I always felt some type of way about that. But that leads me to the good. The good, to me, Kobe bouncing back from when we lost to the Celtics and redeeming him. The redemption series against the Celtics, to me, is the highlight of the Kobe era. Okay. He luckily he did not get traded. We ended up getting Pau Gasol. How that happened, who knows? But the Lakers got Pau Gasol, and to me, something changed in Kobe. He still would jack up shots, but it wasn't the same. I think he learned he was more of a leader at that point. And that was my favorite Kobe era. When Kobe, once we got Pau Gasol, that second half of Kobe's career, I was more of a fan of the 24 than I was the number 8. That's why I got both of them pitched here, because it really is a tale of two careers. And I was more of a fan because I watched him transition to becoming a great player to a legendary player in that period. And he became a legendary player because he changed his mindset, and he started learning what it took to lead a team and to put the team first, okay? And I always feel like that was the good of Kobe. I feel like that period, you could tell his mentality was different. He kind of lightened up a little bit. It was very much family oriented. He started opening up in the media more and everything, and I always felt like that was the good, and I felt like that was his pinnacle, And I still, to this day, despite what anybody want to say, I feel like winning those titles with Pau Gasol as a second player, Pau Gasol is probably, people going to say what they want to say. Pau Gasol, nobody going to put him ahead of Dwayne Wade. Nobody's going to put him ahead of Scottie Pippen. Nobody would put Pau Gasol. Who else we got out there? Damn sure ain't gonna put him ahead of Shaq. So all these guys who had other, would you put Pau over Kyrie? I'm not sure. I might keep Pau over Kyrie, but these are guys who I feel like that was his greatest achievement to me. That was his good. His good was winning with Pau Gasol. A guy who, and I feel like Pau Gasol was a perfect complement to Kobe's mentality. Okay, so I feel like that was Kobe's good. So I gave you a timeline on my love-hate relationship towards Kobe. All in all, man, at the end of the day, I always said if Kobe was in the Laker, I would hate his guts, but he was, and he did great things for the organization. Those years are things that I'll never forget. He's a part of my childhood. And he's a part of me when I transitioned from childhood to manhood. So it's just always been, a part of me. Kobe it is what it is, but just want to give y'all my thoughts on it, man. Give y'all the what I feel is the real deal on Kobe Bryant. And like I said, man, it's more love than hate. Happy 40th birthday. Hey, y'all hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, comment. Let me know what you all think. Tell me if I was out of bounds. Y'all have a good day. One.